Hello.
Was there anything in particular with 2 outs in the first that got you?
It's funny that you ask. I was just talking with Julio and Brett, and I feel like 2 outs has been my nemesis all year. So, it's something I'm going to dig into a lot because all 3 runs today, or all 5 runs today, were with 2 outs, including the 3 in the first inning. So, I'm not sure if it's a mindset or, I'm using pitches different or, just not getting ahead of guys. But, yeah, 2 outs has been kind of my Achilles heel all year. And with that situation with Walsh, it's I fell behind 2-1 and probably threw the worst changeup of the day. So that's what good hitters do. They execute on bad pitches left in the middle.
You talk about the mentality, and Woody brought it up too, that maybe you're trying to be too careful when there's 2 outs, and not that that's exclusive to you, but do you feel like that can creep into your mind?
It can definitely creep into your mind. I don't necessarily feel it on the mound. That doesn't mean it's not happening, but I don't necessarily have that mentality shift where, okay, now I've got 2 outs. Now I really have to be careful, especially with nobody on base. With Trout there, I don't know how many times I've actually thrown in the first inning a 2-2 four-seamer to him. And in that situation, I had told myself, hey, I got 2 outs and I got a 2-2 count, and I'm going to go right at him. So I think there's times where, the mentality shifts maybe a little subconsciously and maybe it affects, some of the decision making. But, it's definitely not something where I'm sitting out there saying, okay, now I'm going to try really hard to get this third out. So, it could be as simple as, I'm not getting ahead as many guys with 2 outs, but it's something I'm going to look into and definitely got to be better at.
Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Other questions for Kyle?
Now, when you come to these post-game Zooms, you always seem relatively upbeat. Are you able to handle what's going on this season? Has it been rough for you? Or seriously, you seem upbeat, but there's got to be gnawing at you a little bit, doesn't it?
100%. It's one of those things where during the last few innings of the game, I feel like it probably gets at me a little bit more, especially when you see the offense try to claw back there at the end, and you think, man, if I'd have made a couple pitches here and there, they'd be 1 run down or 2 runs down instead of 4. So it can definitely get at you. But you know what? I think I try to give myself a little bit of time post game to digest it, and just try to limit the amount of time that I can really be down on myself, because I think there's still other things that I have to be able to accomplish, in the next 5 days before my next start. I've got to be able to do other things with the rest of my day as well. So, I've been in times where I've thrown a lot worse, and I've had streaks where it's been more frustrating than it is now, which might be hard to believe. But, I feel like if every outing I couldn't sit back and say, man, 2 or 3 pitches really did me in, and it was, man, I threw terrible today. 10, 11 pitches were really is what cost me. It might be a different story, but, like I said, with 2 outs, I feel like as bad as it's been in my mind and results-wise, if I could, tighten it up with 2 outs and make a couple pitches here and there, it could have easily been 6 or 7 innings and 2 runs today, and we're tied going into the 9th. So, trying to be realistic with myself and not be too down on myself, even though I'm, probably one of my harshest critics.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
I'm not trying to play psychiatrist or anything here, but I'm
Yeah.
kind of going off of what Kiner said today. He talked about like the mental toll that the season has had, and not having fans, just a bunch of different things. Could that be playing a role at all in some of your struggles?
I definitely think there's a mental grind to, playing a season when things are a little bit different. For me, I don't necessarily think it's the fans. I think, I think there's mental games for a lot of different people and a lot of different players, going into it. For me, I think the mental grind is to try to stay away from the mentality of here we go again. After the first inning, and this is kind of why, mindset is so important for me. Like after the first inning, it's like, okay, I've got I try to give myself a minute or two to be frustrated with myself, and I got to move on, and I think that's really the reason why I'm able to go out there and have a couple good innings in a row and execute some pitches. But I think one of the biggest mental challenges every day is showing up knowing that the team hasn't played how we want to play, and still going out there and trying to be a professional and do your best and trying to get the results that you can get. It's never fun to be on a losing team, and it's never fun when you feel like you're not playing up to your potential and you know that you are this type of player, and right now it's just not working out that way. So that mental grind for me that's where I'm at, is trying to make sure that I'm not letting today impact, obviously, other things off the field. I still have to be a father. I still have to be a husband and a son and do a lot of other things. But then also tomorrow when I show up, there's young guys who are going to look at how I'm being affected by one bad start or one bad inning. And hopefully, I can set an example for how to maybe weather through that type of a storm. And, it's just how it is. Obviously it hasn't gone how I want it to go and how our team wants it to go. But you can't let that affect how you go to work the next day, and you can't let that affect how you prepare for your next start. Because I'm going to have a bullpen in 2 or 3 days, and I'm expected by everybody in this locker room to get better and to work hard and be ready the next start.